Hey guys, welcome back. So this is the ideas API repo that I have for this is the source code that I work off of. And you'll see that we're I've been marking off all the pieces that we've done, and we're practically done with the actual API itself. So the last thing we're gonna want to do is add comments to our project, and that's what we're gonna do in this video. But of course, the next step is to create the GraphQL API, and then we're gonna move on to the front end. I'm still gonna do Angular for the REST front end. However, for the GraphQL front end, I'm been thinking I might do something other than React Native, but we'll see what happens when we get there. Okay, so let's open up our project, full screen this, and also put on the left, and let's close all these tabs. And the first thing that we're going to want to do is just add another module for comments. Now, if you've been following along, this part's going to be very formulaic. We're just going to generate all the following pieces. So Nest generates module comments. Let's see, idea and user is singular, so I'm just going to do comment. And then also generate a controller. And a service. Comment slash comments. Because services could live on by themselves. And then outside of the Nest CLI, we have to make two more files. So we need to create a comment.entity.ts, and finally comment.dto.ts. And then we're just going to fill in all the necessary pieces of this module. So first, we're going to make sure that it's being imported in our app module, which it is right here. So we can close that. The comment module, we're going to want to import a couple things. Imports. We want the typeform module for feature, and comments is going to work a little differently from users and ideas in that we're going to want to import all of the entities. So idea entity, as well as the user entity, and finally a comments entity, which we need to create. So let's go in there. Comment controller DTO entity. Here we go. And this is going to be an entity which comes from typeform. The table I'm going to call comments. Believe, did we pluralize entities in here? We did not, so okay. So export class comment entity, and finally import that in here. So comment entity. So we have the controller here, we have the providers. So let's see, do we need anything else in here? No, I think that's good. Okay, so let's fill out the data model. So of course, we want a primary generated column of type UUID, which is ID in string. And we also want the created date. What is this? Create date column. Created of type date. And finally, just a normal column, which we're gonna specify as text in the database, and we're gonna call this property comment. Okay, let's actually get rid of this because it's not being used. And I believe that's all we need for the actual entity itself before we start adding the relationships. So in our DTO, when a comment is created, we're only going to get this property since these two are generated. So we're going to make that export. This is a class. Comments, DTO, what did I call it? Comments, string, and let's add in the decorator to validate it, which is, what was it? Is string. And that's all we need for the data transfer object. Okay, so now to finish off the entity, we need to add the relationships. I'm sorry. A comment will have an author, which is the type user entity, and it's also going to have the idea that it's attached to. And the following, what's this called? Decorators that it needs for the author is going to be a many-to-one relationship, many-to-one. So many comments to one author, and the type is going to be of user entity, of course, user entity, not user. Get rid of that. And we're going to do a join column, or join table, I mean, here. So then we don't have to add the inverse relationship over here, where we do the author dot whatever. So we don't need that. And then idea is going to be a many-to-one relationship also. But we also want the idea to reference this. So we're not going to have the join column. Instead, we're just going to do idea entity and specify the inverse relationship. Idea dot comments. And of course, this is going to throw an error because we need to update our idea entity, which is going to go over here. I'll just put it at the bottom. So that was many-to-one. I believe this is going to be one-to-many. And comments is going to be comment entity array. And let me just double check really quick. Boop, boop, boop. Boop, 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 boop. There it is. Okay, cool. One-to-many. Good. And the type is going to be comment entity. And then the inverse is comment dot idea. And then we're also going to want to add cascade equals to true. Excuse me. Which basically means that when the idea is deleted, then the associated comments will also be deleted. So that should be the only thing changed in our idea entity. So going back to comments, I comments. All right, cool. That looks good. All right, so which one to do first, the controller or the service? Well, I believe the controller will make more sense. So first, let's inject some dependencies. We know we want the comment service here, so we're just gonna do a private comment service is comment service. And now we could specify the routes. Comments. I'm gonna make this API/comments. So the prefix for this controller is gonna be API/comments, and then for all of the following routes is gonna be associated by that. let's go into here. All right. So first we want to do a get. And comments, I'm going to treat a little differently. We're not going to do a get all. Instead, we're going to search by the ID, or the idea, I mean. And this is going to be show comments by idea. And this is going to take in the parameter, param ID, close the paren, and this is the idea of type string. And then the next route is going to be by the user slash ID show comments by user param ID user string. And let's see, so we don't want all of them, so that looks good. We also want a post which we will use to create the comment. And this is going to be using the use guards new auth guard. And we also want to use the validation pipe. So use pipes new validation pipe. Let's make sure that we're getting it from the shared routes, which we are. And then let's see. To post an idea, we need both the to post the comment. We need both the idea as well as the user. We're going to be getting the user from the guard. So in the route, we just need to do idea slash ID. And that way we could get all of the associated data that we need to create the comment. So the first one is going to be param of ID, and we call that the idea. And then we could use the user decorator that we created to get the user. And then finally, we could use the body decorator to get the data. And that's going to be the DTO that we just created. So data transfer objects, tab. And then what else do we need with comments? Let's see. We also want to show the actual comment. So one more get. And just show comments. And this is going to be at param. And just do ID string. And then finally a delete. We're not going to give the option to update. Just because I think it would be easier to get and delete. And of course, only authenticated users can delete their own comments, so we're going to use the auth guard. New auth guard. Make sure we call the function. And we're just going to call it destroy comments. At param ID string user string. Alright, so let's make sure everything looks good. Now the only thing left to do is to make sure that we create all the functions that are associated by these routes in our service. So let's go into our service and let's fill this out. Alright, so service. Service. Do. Okay. So of course we're gonna need the constructor to do our dependency injections. And then inject repository. This one's gonna be the comment repository or comment entity. And we're gonna call it first we're gonna make it private. Then we're gonna call it comment repository, and it's gonna be of type. Oops, sorry. Of type repository, of type comment entity. Okay, but if you go back, you'll notice that we have it's associated to the idea, and also the user. So we're gonna want to get those entities as well, which is also why in our module we're adding in all three of them to the imports. Okay, so same thing, just inject repository. This one's going to be the idea entity, private idea repository, idea entity. There we go. Inject repository, and this one's going to be the user entity, private user repository user entity. Okay, that was so yeah, we are injecting a lot of things, but all of them are necessary. So let's see, what can we do first? I'm gonna skip these two for now, and let's go into let's do these three. The easiest one is obviously gonna be the show, so we're gonna do that first. And let's see. We're gonna use promises, so it's gonna be async, and we're just gonna do show, and we're taking the ID, which is gonna be a type string, and let's see, const comment equals await this dot comment repository dot find one where ID equals ID, and we're just gonna return the comment. Let's see, am I missing anything? Oh, it will probably help if we have the relations, so we know that who the author is, as well as what idea is associated with. So let's do that. And then next is, why are things highlighted? Okay, so the show is currently being used, so we could do a return on this dot comment service dot show ID. Let's see, delete would be easy, but I think it would be smarter to do the create. So let's do that. Async create, and here we're taking in a couple of things. So the idea, the user, and the data. So first, the idea ID string, the user ID of type string, and the data, which is going to be of type comment DTO. And I know it's only one field, but I still feel like we should create the data transfer object anyways, just because it'll fit with the consistency of our main application. Okay, so where was I? Where did I go? Oh, okay. In here. So first, let's query the database for both the user and the idea. So const idea awaits this dot idea repository dot find one where the ID is equal to the idea ID. We have to do this because we are using two different ideas, or two different IDs, I mean. So we can't use the shorthand that we normally do, like over here. And of course, let's get the user as well. Await this dot user repository. No, not user repo. Why is it capitalized? U. Okay, there we go. Sorry, that was just a little pet peeve. Where ID is equal to the user ID, and then we just have to create the comment now. So const comment equals to await this dot comment repository dot create, and we're gonna take in the spread of the data and the idea, and then author is gonna be the user object. Okay. And of course we have to save it. So this dot comment repository dot save comment, and then finally we get to return the comment. I think that's good. All right, and finally the destroy method. So let's do that. Destroy, and what are we feeding into the destroy? We get the ID and also the user to make sure that it's the correct user that's owning the comment. So ID, which is string, user ID, which is also string. Okay. So first, let's get the comment. Await this dot comment repository dot find one, and where ID, and we're gonna get the relations here. So author idea, and let's just do a if. We don't have to requery the database because the author will have the user ID, so we'll just do a simple if here. So let's see, what's it? Comment dot author dot ID is not equal to the user ID, then they don't own it. So we're just gonna do throw new exception, and we're just gonna, the status is gonna be HTTP statuses dot unauthorized, and the message is just gonna be you do not own this comment. And then finally, we're just gonna remove the comment from the database. So that's gonna be this dot comment repository dot remove comment and return the comment. All right, so we have the associated CRUD operations that we want. We have the create, the show, and the delete. We don't need an update just because of how we're going to handle the comments. Now we just need to add the show by idea and user. And that is going to be, I'm going to put it at the top actually. So there are two ways to query the database using Typeform for this. So I'll show you both of them. So show by idea, and first, let's make sure we're getting the idea and the user. So just one argument. So this is going to be idea. I'll just do ID. I think that'll be easier. Okay, so the first way is to query the idea repository. So await this the idea repository dot find one where ID and relations is going to be comments.author and comments.idea. Go away. And we just do return idea.comments. So this way we're just going to get this single idea and then return all of its innards with the comments, like so. And then we can use the relations method to use a dot operator. So then we could do a nested population into the comments itself. Now the other way to do a nested show, I mean, is this way. So show by user, and this is going to take the user ID, and we're just going to query the comment repository itself, like so. Wait, that this dot comment repository dot find, and we're going to find all comments with the corresponding user ID. So we do a nested where. So author ID, and then relations is going to be of author. And then we'll just do return comments. This should be plural because we're getting an array back. Now all we need to do is to test all of these functionality. So let's start the server. Start dev. And let that go and open up Postman, which I already have. And let's go find a comment. So ideas. Currently not showing comments through the other endpoints, so we should probably fix that. I think I could get back to that. It's a small fix. So let's go. Let's just create a comment first. What's is the route that I set up for the API/comments/ idea/ID. Okay, so we want the idea ID. So let's do this one. /ideas /ID. Is it plural? No, it's not. Okay. And the body is test, which is fine. JWT is expired. That's okay. That's actually why I have the second tab open. And let's just log in as what's this, username and password? Replace our token to update this. So bearer paste send. Was there an error? Post exception. It doesn't look like there's an exception. Oh, we're not calling the function. We should probably do that. Okay. That create idea user data. It's a pretty important step that I somehow forgot. Destroy takes in the ID first and then the user. Show by idea. So this dot show comments by idea idea. This dot show comments by user idea. Oops, not idea. User. And let's make sure to return these so that we get a value back on Postman. Alright, let's try that again. So post, and we have our comment. So the author isn't being sanitized, so we need to fix the response object that's coming back. But we have our comment, so that's great. Let's test our get routes, like so. Get rid of this entire thing. Send. There's the comment showing exactly the way it already was, so the author still needs to be fixed. And then, what other route did I set up? Oh, there, delete. Before we do delete, let's I have the user ID here, so let's go check that. So comments / user / this ID. Is that wrong? User / ID comments. What went wrong? Maximum call stack exceeded. Show comments by user. Oh, strange. I'll get back to that. Let's first check the ideas really quick, which we could simply do a get here. So just do not that API / ideas. Let's check this first idea to see what comments we have on it. Idea. Huh. That is odd. Comment controller show comments by idea. Show. Oh, that's why. Add is doing a recursive thing, so wow. Okay. I am using the wrong function. Alright, so this dot comment service dot show by idea, passing in idea. And this one, likewise, is going to be this dot comment service dot show by user, passing in user. Okay, that should fix our problem, because recursion is always nice, I guess. Infinite loops are fun, guys. So let's try that again. So the idea route works fine. User / I think this is the one that we had last time. Send. Everything is good. So the fixes that we need is to add comments to our other endpoints. So just add the relationships. And then also to hide the author in our comments. So likewise, we're gonna add the private method to response objects. Response object here. Oh, not here. We want it in our service. So, where is it? Okay, so right here, private to response object, and we're gonna pass in the comments, which is of comment entity. Do the return, well, not that, const response object equals to comments if comment.author, then comment.author equals to comment.author dots to response objects response object. Make this of type any. And return response object. There, and we're just going to call this everywhere. So this dot to response object. Why is this? Oh, this is an array, so let's do this. So we have to actually map this, so comment this dot to response object comment there. And then this is also an array, so we need to do the same thing. Dot map this dot to response object comments. This is showing 1, so we just do it in the front. This dot to response object. Same here. To response object. And here. Save. Now, for demonstration purposes, I don't think I need to test this on screen. I'm sure you are pretty certain what this is going to do. And then in our other services, idea service, we just have to change the show all to show the comments, and as well as the read. And let's see, update. Do we need the comments? Yeah, I feel like we should. Wait. It's this one that needs to be changed. And let's see, destroy. Yeah, sure, why not? Upvote and downvotes. This is pretty standard. We should add this here. And bookmarks. Meh. Alright, cool. So just a quick thing. Let's show all the ideas. And now we have the comments. So this has 1 comment, 0 comments, and 0 comments. Alright, cool. So that brings a close to our REST API. We have the comments, we have the ideas, and we have the users, as well as authentication, all inside of the app module. So this is a pretty full-fledged application, I believe, for REST API. So let's do a git status. Git add everything, git commit, add, oops, added comment module. Okay. So let's go back to the thing. So ideas can be seen in real time. I might skip that. We'll see what happens. Because I think there are a couple problems with the NestJS gateway as it is. I'm having a little bit of trouble getting things to communicate with one another. So if you have any um, insight in that, I would be glad to know. So yeah, let me know if you know a way around that. And then next, I really want to start on the GraphQL API with this in this same project structure. So I'll see you guys next time.